friends, and welcome back. In today's video, here are 10 items that I regret spending money on and I regret buying when I had my first. It was actually hard to just narrow it down to 10 because with my first child, I bought a lot of things that I regret buying. And I think that's the thing, when you have your children, when you find out you're pregnant, you get lulled into this, I must have this, I must have this, I need this, babies need this and this and this and this, and it's just not true. Some of them might contradict each other a little bit, but it's not necessarily the overall item, it's the perhaps specific item that I did buy. I hope you enjoy listening to all the money that I wasted when I had my first baby, because it was a lot, and the frugal person in me is just looking at like, oh, you could have saved so much money if only you knew. My number one biggest regret of something that I bought when I had a baby that just took up a lot of space with my first was the jumperoo. This thing right here. Yeah. I got one of those with my first, and just to put in some context, we lived in a 2 up, 2 down tiny terraced house. They are expensive, they take up a lot of space, they are overstimulating in my opinion for babies. Oh, and as a quick disclaimer, if you use all these things and you love them and you think they are essential to your child rearing, then there is no judgment here. This is just me and my personal journey that I was on with parenting and having babies. But if they work for you, then more power to you. They just did not for me. But the jumperoo, if I were to get one, I would now of course buy one second hand. But generally speaking, if I were to have more kids, I didn't have one with my second and I would not have them with any more kids. And then number 2 is a baby bath. Granted, these aren't, or I think they can be expensive, but the one I bought wasn't expensive. It was just a little plastic bath. And I very quickly learnt that these just take up space and are just not needed. When I would either bath with my babies, or if I was giving them a bath, I would just fill up our normal bath a little bit and let them lie down and splash about. They would love it. Or I'd even wash them in the sink. And it was just money I didn't need to spend on when I already have a bath in my house. If you only have a shower in your house and you don't have a bath, then I feel like that my opinion might change a little bit there. The third thing that I bought, I regret buying, is a changing table. Granted, the changing table was very useful to store all of my reusable nappies, but I did not use it for changing my child's nappy. I would just change them as and where I was. I also wasn't one of these mums that had a beautiful little mat that they used to take around with them. I was one of the horrible mothers that would just lie them on the floor. Well, not horrible. I obviously wouldn't just put them on like pebbles, but I don't feel like the changing table is needed. They are expensive for what they are, and they just took up space in our tiny house that I didn't need to take up, so I would not buy another one. And I did a lot of these ones, pretty much everything I'm talking about as well, I sold after my first and I did not use for my second. Moving on to my number 4, and it's the video baby monitor. I bought one with my first. Of course I did. And I quickly realised that this was pointless. Not only because we lived in a tiny 2-bedroom house where we could hear a feather fall to the ground, also because we co-sleep mostly. I just think the whole idea of the video gives you too much reason to be hyper aware, and there is a time to let yourself just try and switch off from your baby. Of course not give them the attention that they need, but I'm saying if they are happily sleeping and you know you're going to hear them if they cry, I don't think the video is needed. I was a very attentive mother. If I hear my babies cry, I'm going to go to them, so I don't need to be able to see them. When we moved to our bigger house, we did get a secondhand £5 noise baby monitor, and that was good because you could hear just the tiniest of stirs on the monitor, and it worked really well. Number 5 is potentially a controversial one, but it's the baby sleeping bags. I'll put in a picture of what I mean. Most parents absolutely love these. My children hated them. My kids just never liked the sleeping bag. Whenever I would try and put it on them to sleep, they hated it. I think they like to be able to wriggle, they like to be able to kick and move about, and they couldn't do that. So although we had quite a few of them, we never used them. So they just ended up being a waste of money for us. Number 6 is a Moses basket. We bought a Moses basket like this with our first, and I hate Moses baskets. With our second, we bought a co-sleeper and I liked that a lot more, but the Moses basket was small, it'd be a faff. Like, you can't easily access it from your bed, so if you're sleeping, you have to get up anyway to get the baby out, so what's the point? My number 7 is the baby swings. I'll put in a picture. This thing here, we bought one, and for a week or two it's fine, yeah, the kids love playing with it, ooh, and they're sitting in it and smiling, little 6-month-olds. But I soon realised, again, it takes up more space. We were in a tiny little house, and it's just not needed. He was just as happy in his little basic bouncer. Once again, it's another baby product that's just so stimulating, and I don't think babies need that stimulation. The whole world around them is stimulating enough. We bought one, it was a huge waste of money, we sold it, and I did not and would not get one again. My number 8 is potentially a controversial one, but it's the carry car seats. Though we never bought one, I was given one of these, and we were given one of these carries car seats, and I had decided even before having my baby that this was only going to be for in the hospital, like for when we had the actual baby. So when our eldest was born, we used the carry car seat to be able to get them from the hospital to home, but after that I pretty much gave it away. Reason for this is because I never wanted the option to be lazy and leave my child in a car seat. I found that it would have just been too easy if my baby had fallen asleep in one of them carry car seats. I'll put a picture of what I mean. Then I would have just carried them around, left them to sleep. But them car seats are dangerous. There has been so many situations where babies have like suffocated because of the position they're in, because they were in there for too long, because they were just left to sleep. And I completely understand why parents do this, because parenting is hard, having a newborn is hard. If baby sleeps, you want them to sleep. So me and my husband decided, once we were out of the hospital and once we were past that first like week or two, we were going to get rid of it. It wasn't going to be an option, and we bought a Jovi. We bought this sort of car seat instead. So I knew I was going to get rid of it, but I feel that I could have very easily regretted it if I'd let myself go past that. Out of my car, my baby either goes in the sling or went in the buggy. I did not want the option to leave them in the car seat, and actually I loved that we didn't have one of these car seats, because my baby's got quite used to just being moved around a bit more. I would not get one of those car seats with any other children. I just bought one car seat that fits from 0 to 4, and I loved it. Number 9 is choosing aesthetics over practicality. A lot of the time I would choose the pretty buggy or the pretty car seat or the pretty this or anything that was pretty and I liked the look of it, it was colourful. I chose that without doing any research. With our high chair, with our buggy, with a lot of these things, I chose the pretty product rather than the practical product. I wasted a lot of money buying the pretty products, just like I spent a lot of my money buying the expensive products, which is my number 10, is I regret choosing the expensive products over the practical products. Like the baby monitor, I went and bought a big fancy video baby monitor rather than just buying a £5 secondhand voice baby monitor like I did with my second. That would have been enough if I just bought that, rather than buying the £100-odd fancy ass video camera one that was just not needed. And I did that with a lot of baby products. With like the clothes, I would buy these beautiful white company clothes, or my mother would, or someone would buy them for me, and they're just going to throw up on them, they're just going to grow out of them. Now I buy big bundles of secondhand cheap clothes that they can have fun in and ruin. The idea that expensive is better is sometimes true. I'm not going to say it's not, but most of the time I found it isn't. And if I want to buy the expensive product, I will look for it secondhand, so that I'm not spending hundreds of pounds on an item that I can find the exact same one, almost new, for less money. Because also, all of these secondhand products that you're finding, they've only been used for a certain amount of time anyway. When you think about it, babies are only babies for so long. They grow out of all these products. If you are to buy secondhand baby clothes between the ages of 0 and 6 months, as long as they weren't weaned, and as long as they didn't have explosive poos in them, these baby products will be like new. I would only now buy secondhand. This video was probably a bit all over the place. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment down below what you'd like to see next. If you'd like to see my previous video that was 10 essential baby items that I think every parent should have, or that worked for us. If you want to see that video, then I will link it up above and below. If you like to subscribe, I have more parenting, homeschooling, frugal, minimal tips and things like that I don't really know where I'm going with this channel. At the moment, I'm just making whatever videos that I want. So if you have some ideas of what videos you want to see, let me know so I know what you actually want to see, rather than me just rambling, creating random content for you, because I will see you in my next video, friends. Bye-bye.